Hey, the Breakmaster here, and this is gonna be my Avatar: The Legend of Korra episode 10 review. It was a good episode. I have little things I just like. I guess I was nitpicking, but I don't know. This episode, it was good. It wasn't one of those episodes, one of the first episodes actually, that didn't make me be like, oh my god, oh, and stuff like that. Like all that stuff just happens all of a sudden. It was epic for certain parts, but I don't know. I don't know about this episode. It's not as what I expected, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't like how certain things happen. And you'll see what I'm talking about once I review this. So basically, how the episode starts going, you end up seeing Korra being in bed after all that stuff that happened, and Mako's right there and everything, and it's like, oh, you're finally awake. And like, this is the one grab I'm having right now is Mako. This is just getting a little out of hand now. He's just all over Korra right now. He's just worrying about her all the time. Like, and I wonder how Asami really feels about all this, because it's just like, the way he's acting towards Korra is just it's getting ridiculous. Like, come on, man. And so then Korra starts eating. She starts trying to feel better. She's saying the food's delicious, Emma, and all that good stuff and everything. And so this is one of the first scenes that Masami ends up confronting Mako about the whole kiss thingy and everything. And so she's in the kitchen. Mako ends up coming. He's like, Korra needs more water and stuff. And she's like, why don't you just firebend it then? Like, because she needs some hot water. He's like, firebend it then. And she got all mad. And so, and Mako's like, what the heck? And so then Emma's like, I gotta go, And by the way, her baby was kicking in her stomach, so she's, things were not going so well with that. And she's like, what's going on? And she's like, no, nothing's wrong or anything like that. And she should have said something once that was going on, because that baby wants to get out of there then. And so she ends up leaving out of there. And so Asami and Mako end up talking. And so, is there anything wrong? Anything you talk about? He's like, you already know what I want to talk about. Like, come on, man. And stuff. And he's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you want me to say it? And he's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And then basically like, you kissed Korra, and I know that. And it seems like you have more feelings for her. The way you've been acting is just crazy. And he's like, no, what are you talking about? I was worried about her because she was getting captured and blah blah blah. I'm like, come on, dude. With the way you're acting, it's not just that. Yeah. So it's just, she noticed that, and she just, they didn't come to terms with each other. It's just, they argued, and it was done. And she just got mad and angry, and it just didn't go well with them. And so then the whole episode, Asami's just angry at Mako, and Mako's just acting stupid. That's all I can say, because Mako is just like, you're not. It just makes it seem like you willingly were with her because you wanted to get the money, and it's just by fate basically. You want to get the money. Yeah, I don't know. It's stupid how this is going. And so Korra ends up explaining that Yukon is, that Tarlok is Yukon's son, and that's how he's able to bloodbend. And everyone's like, That was the other thing I didn't really understand. Like, why would everyone be okay with that explanation? Like, yeah, even though he's a son and whatnot, doesn't necessarily mean that he can actually, bloodbend. But I don't know. It's just like they could explain a little bit more on the bloodbend. Maybe she could have saw a vision, but it's just weird how they're like, yeah, that's how he's a bloodbender. Okay, that makes sense. But it does make sense. But it's just like everyone accepted it so simple. But it's just like, how exactly is he bloodbending without the moon? That's what I want to know. So as all information was going on and everything like that, Tenten needed to go see the council, and because of all this stuff that was going on, and Tarlok is not there anymore, so he needs to go see what's going on. And so before that, he ends up asking Lin Bei Fong to protect his family and everything like that, and she agrees and everything. And then Emma ends up overhearing that, and she's like, oh, well, I do need some help around here. And she had Milo, and Milo he ends up handing off Milo to Lin, and he's like, this is not what I signed up for. Milo's like, yeah, that's stupid. Milo's dumb in this episode too. But he ends up going to go see the councilman and everything like that. And oh yeah, that's before this happens. Then he'll go back to Republic City, and there's like this weird scene happens. I don't understand this scene. It made no sense. Like, this guy, like, the girl comes like, hey, you know where my keys are? And he's like, no, dear. And he's like, oh, I found the keys. Good, dear. And he's like, what? And he's like, yes, dear. Like, he kept saying like dear all the time. And then the mustache guy ends up knocking on his door, and it's like, we came from an inspection. And shocks the woman, and then the guy's like, dear? And I'm like, that was like a dumb scene, but it was really funny. And so then we end up going to Tenten, and Tenten's trying to go see the councilman and everything like that. And then we end up seeing these painter or billboard people. I'm not sure exactly what they were doing, but they're looking at Tenten, and I was like, oh, they must be equalists, and it was weird. They look just like any normal person. You wouldn't expect them to be equalists, so it's just, that's how good and camouflage they really are, And so they ended up coming down and trying to attack Tenten, and Tenten almost gets caught, but then he uses superior airbending to get out of that. And so then that person comes that was with Tarlock before. I can't remember that girl. That's all old looking, but yeah, she's like, oh my god, we're getting attacked by the Equalist, and that all the councilmen got captured. The only one that's still around is Chief Saikon and whatnot. So Tenten is going to go see Chief Saikon, and Chief Saikon's he's doing all the work. He's like, okay, make sure this happens, and blah 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 blah, and he's all explaining the situation that our military force is too thin to be spread out like this. We can't really do anything. And so then Tenten was like, I need to call the United Forces. And I was like, United Forces? So this is interesting. So we're going to see some outside people finally coming in. Some firebenders, earthbenders, and waterbenders. All of them together, coming together, trying to, come and help this place, which is good. We finally get to see some unity after all this. Even though, all this public city stuff, you know what I'm saying? And it's nice to see the other nations finally after this, too. So he calls the United Nation and everything like that. And then he ends up going out and everything. And he had metal benders. And then he had to end up going to this fight scene. And he's having to fight those machines, and he was doing okay for the most part. The freaking all the metal benders got captured because what are they wearing? They're wearing metal. What you gotta do to defeat metal? Magnet. So this magnetize all the metal benders, and that's like the main weakness. And it just shows how much weakness they have with this metal on. Like, they need to take the metal off, because you also gotta remember, when they get shocked, it's twice as hard for them than it is for any normal person getting hit by it, because they have metal on. So it's really weak. They didn't take that off, honestly. But they all ended up getting captured, so Tensei had to fight him off, and he was doing okay, but then he ends up getting knocked out. And as he's about to get knocked out, like, everyone gets knocked out on the show so much and so easily too. And as he's about to get knocked out, Korra, Tenzin, and not Korra, Mako, and Bolin and Sami end up coming and getting him and saving him, basically. And they end up doing this fight scene. And I don't understand how, but apparently Mako knows how to redirect lightning. So, like I said, they need to kind of explain who exactly is the teacher teaching everything, like all this stuff. Like, everyone knows how to do all this stuff now. All these special bendings are not special anymore. Even redirecting lightning is not special anymore. And I was like, wow, redirecting lightning was ancient art. Like, it's an art that not everyone knew. Freaking the only people that actually knew it was Aang, Zuko, and Iroh. Those are only 3 people that in that whole series, Avatar: Last Airbender, that knew that. So I mean, I guess it's 70 years now, but it's just how's he know all this? Like, everything's so simple now, and he knows everything. He's like one of the strongest freaking firebenders. It seems like. I don't know what's up with this guy. So who's taught this? Who's teaching this stuff? That's what I'm wondering. And so yeah, that was one thing I was just like, what? He ended up redirecting lightning, and he don't even do the whole he takes it in and then shoots it. He has a cord like this and everything. And he just says, bam, and it's like, what the heck? But I don't know. So he ends up defeating him, and they end up saving Tenzin, and Tenzin's like, wow, thank you guys, y'all would have been caught. And if you guys came late or anything. And so then he ends up seeing they end up seeing an airship, a fleet of airship and stuff like that. End up going over his house, and he's like, oh no. And so he wants to go back over there to where his house is, and this is where Lin Beifong gets some shine finally. Lin Beifong ends up fighting off the Equalists that are there, and she's doing good. She's acting beast and everything. I just wish they gave her more airtime and made her look more beast of a character instead of just still getting captured. She still ends up losing. That freaking mustache guy ends up shocking her, and she's on the ground. I'm like, dang it, come on, Lin, come on, Lin. It feels tough. Talk about beast, like, take them all out. Yeah, I don't know. I just wish she had more shine. So she was on the ground, and then so Jinora and basically all Tenzin's kids end up coming, and they end up protecting Lin, and they actually ended off fending off the Equalist that she couldn't necessarily take down. Like really, especially Milo. It was a funny scene, but realistically speaking, it just didn't make sense. I mean, I can see Jinora being like this because she kind of reminds me of Aang a little bit in her sense of bending. She's really good at it too. So she's a really good airbender, a really good airbender. It's just Milo, really fart bending, like really. I mean, I don't know. It's supposed to be like comedy and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know. It's just hard to believe, and it's not as believable as I would like. But nonetheless, they ended up fending off all the Equalists, and all the Equalists are now captured. Tenzin comes back and it's like, I can't believe you're okay, and whatnot. And so his kids end up coming. He's like, Milo's like, yeah, we defeated off those the Equalists and stuff. And then like Tenzin's like, what? How you let them fight? We know what could have happened. And he's like, well, I was about to be toast. Without them coming, I would have been toast. So you should be saying congratulations to them. You trained them well, which is like, it was nice to see and hear that. I was like, you did train him well. I'll say that for the most part, especially Jinora. Like I said, Jinora's a good airbender, and so he ends up going again. Ends up seeing his wife, and his wife had the kid, and it was a nice little moment. I saw. I was like, that was good. That was good. He ends up calling or naming his kid Oran or something, Ohan or something. No, Rohan. Yeah, Rohan. Yeah, his name's Rohan. And yeah, because he just ended up naming him, but he couldn't last for long. That kind of happiness, because the Eagles are still coming. They're trying to attack more, and he's like, I need to get my family out of here. And so he ends up getting on Oogi, and his family ends up going on this other bison, sky bison, and I'm like, yeah. Also, I also want to say that they end up explaining something. I was kind of curious if there's other airbenders around, but apparently there isn't. So at least they cleared that up, because I was wondering if there's gonna be more airbenders besides Tencent and his family. So apparently he is the last airbender besides his family. So there is no Air Nation or anything like that. So we can already dismiss that, which is, I guess, was good to hear, because I didn't know. I wasn't sure, you know. So, but yeah, how does he have another sky bison? That's what I'm wondering. Like, he has Oogi, but where did the other sky bison come from? How is there another sky bison? If you think about it, Aang was the last airbender, so technically was Appa and his, bison stuff. Like, there was no other bison. How can he? I don't know when Appa said bam 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 to some other freaking bison, but I don't know. I was a little confused on like who, and then who is this other bison? He didn't have a name. He didn't have a name or nothing, or she didn't have a name. So, but yeah, I was overthinking things. I was like, how does that happen? But they end up getting out of there, or they're flying away and everything, and the Equalists are still following them and everything. They have those airships like the Fire Nest used to have. It was a little bit different, but they end up coming after them and everything like that. And so then this net was coming, and then Lin, because Lin was also coming with them too, because he wanted to protect them. And Lin ends up taking that net down, and then there's rope, and so she ends up grabbing onto the rope with her little string thing that she has, and she's like, whatever you do, don't look back and keep going. Don't worry about whatever happens to me. And I was like, oh, well, that must mean something's gonna happen to her. And Tensen's like, no, don't do it. And she ends up going anyway, and she ends up taking out one air fleet. And I was like, I said I want her to do more beastly stuff, and this was okay, beastly, but I seen a whole slew of airships get taken down in the last series. I'm just saying. But she ends up taking out one airship all by herself, and she ends up propelling herself to the other airships. There's two of them, and the other airship, she ends up getting captured by this by some guy, or I think it was the baton guy actually. He ends up throwing that little, whatever that thing, that rope thing is, and it shocks her. Like I said, she has metal on, so she gets knocked out instantly, and she's captured. And it's like, And so here's the scene, and the scene was actually done, like the animation was done so crisp, like, and I was like, that's what I'm talking about. And basically, Amon's like, where's the avatar and stuff? And he's like, I'm not gonna tell you anything. And I was like, it's like, all right, then. So he's gonna let her keep her bending too. He's like, I'm gonna let you keep her bending if you tell me where they are. And he's like, I'm not gonna tell you anything. And he's like, very well then. He ends up going behind her, equalized and stuff. And so now, and I was like, wow. So she ends up losing her bending. So she's not gonna be of any factor later on in the series. So I'm just like, it's interesting how they're taking out so many characters, They took out two main characters so far. They took out Tarlok, and then they took out Lin. Who else is gonna get taken out in this thing? It's just, this is one of the things I'm just kind of surprised about within the series, in the season. It's just, this first season, season 1, 2 characters got taken out so soon, I didn't expect Lin to be taken out like this. Because her kind of metal bending isn't like Sakon's metal bending. His metal bending, he can't see like the ground like in that kind of propulsion. Well, probably can, but it's never really been touched upon. But I like Lin, and it's sad to see that she's not gonna be a factor anymore. And it's just like, wow, So that's how I guess I didn't partially like that. I was like, really? And what's gonna happen in the next episode? Because that's basically the end of the episode. I'm curious what's going to happen in the next episode and how this all ties together. What is Amon's plan? Because from this whole series, this other thing I didn't like about it, this main thing I didn't like, through this whole series so far, Amon seemed to be in the shade of gray. He wasn't a villain, nor was he a hero or a hero or a villain or anything like that, right? But all of a sudden, he just, I'm going to take over Republic City. Boom, black splash, boom, explode. I'm like, what happened? Like, I don't understand. Like, how is this gonna cleanse these benders away from the city. Like, I thought he was gonna do more politically wise, but he's like, forget this crap, and he just starts going crazy. He ends up taking all the councilmen hostage, and he's just, I don't know. It's like this. I just have a problem with it a little bit. It's like he wasn't like the main villain. He wasn't no villain like that. He was straight up great. He looked like he had a purpose. But it seems like he just riled up a bunch of freaking army people, and then he's like, let's attack the freaking Republic City. Like, I don't see how this is gonna work. But he's taken over Republic City so far, and I don't understand. I don't understand this. Like, I don't really understand exactly what his exact goal is, and I wonder who he really is, anyways. And I have some kind of theories, which I'll make a video on that later on. But this is one of the things I was griping about. I was like, really? So, yeah, so basically that was in the episode. That's all my thoughts on the series. What do you think of this episode? On that series, but what do you think of this episode? That's my thoughts on the series, but what do you think of this episode so far? Leave your comments below and tell me what you think. Like if you like this review, and subscribe to my channel for some more Legend of Korra reviews. Season finale coming next week, so I guess look out for that, people. So yeah, it's been the Breakmaster, and until then, break out. Oh yeah, there's one thing I forgot to mention about this in this review, and that was at the end of the episode. That I don't know how I actually forgot about this, and I almost did, but thank God my brother told me about this. But basically at the end of the episode, we end up seeing General Iroh, or basically he's the Fire Nation, leader of the Fire Nation and everything, and I'm pretty sure that's Zuko's son, because he sounds exactly like Zuko, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. It's weird how he sounds exactly like Zuko, and he has kind of the Zuko-ish look, but his hair is all neatly and stuff, neatly done and everything. Zuko don't have that kind of hairstyle. It's all messy, and it's just, I don't know, it was weird. But yeah, that was like the main moment actually I really liked in this series. Oh no, not series, but in this episode was really, like that part right there. I like that, so I'm curious what we're gonna see. And what is he like? Because he's gonna be helping, Tenzin and the rest of them. So it's gonna be interesting stuff. I look forward to seeing this. But yeah, on that note, until then, this has been Legend of Korra, episode 10 review. And until then, break out.